Hi and welcome to our new and improved gym. We have updated a lot of our facility. I know walking in, looking at this, it can be very overwhelming. So I just wanted to break everything down and kind of explain what this new giant monstrosity behind me is. So this is our monster rig. We have added 4 squat stations here. You can use them for squats, bench press, overhead press, adjusting our J cups to the proper height. So I just want to kind of go over a couple of things. You can do your squats, presses, or bench on the outside or on the inside. We've got station 1, station 2, station 3, station 4, and we've got a bunch of pull-up bars all around the edges. So to adjust your J cups, you're gonna twist, take it out, adjust to the proper height, wherever need be, and then you can set up your barbell at your height. Again, these can also go on the inside of the rack or on the outside. So if there's a class happening on the turf, but they're not using the rack, you're more than welcome to come on the inside over here and utilize that space. So 2 of our stations here have safety arms. So you can use these for rack pulls, but mostly they're gonna be for if you're gonna fail a squat, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have these up so that way it catches your barbell on the squat. So we've got these big pins sticking out of the back here. They're a little bit hard to maneuver. You're gonna pull it out as hard as you can. This twists just like your regular J cup. Then you readjust your height wherever it has to be, twist it back into place, and then you're gonna take your pin, making sure it is somewhat aligned, and you're gonna pop it back in. All right, so this is a MONOLIFT. So the reason why you're gonna want a MONOLIFT is if you have to do a heavy squat, but you don't have to walk it out of the rig. So taking a couple of steps back with a lot of weight on your back, very annoying, unnecessary use of energy. So this kind of takes that out of the equation. First thing that you're gonna wanna do is adjust it to your height. So if I try to do a squat at this height, a little bit high for me. So I'm gonna take my barbell, I'm gonna put it on my safety arm. So you can notice as soon as I took the barbell off, these slid back into place. So I'm gonna take my pin out, but just so you know, there's nothing else besides this pin that's supporting the MONOLIFT. So I'm gonna get a really good grip on it. I'm gonna pull hard and be prepared, brace for it. So if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you might wanna get a friend to help you out. You can feel free to ask one of our staff members or one of our trainers. I'm gonna put that at a lower height for myself. So same thing on the other one. I'm gonna brace for it. I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna slide that down and lock it back in. Now that I've got my proper height on my MONOLIFT, we can squat. So what I wanna do is get under the bar. Once I have myself in position, I don't need to move. So I'm gonna lift. The MONOLIFT is gonna come out from under my barbell. I can stay right where I am, do my squat, stand back up, lean forward, and put it back. We also have the option, if you wanna use this as a stationary rack, we've got this silver key that's here. So the silver key comes out. I'm gonna take that key, I'm gonna plop it right back in. Now the MONOLIFT doesn't move. Stationary, we don't have to worry about it moving out from under your barbell, and you can treat it like a regular squat rack. All right, so next up is our LANDMINE attachment. We've got one on either side of the rig. You are more than welcome to move these around. So if there's like a class happening and you want to put it on the other side, you can kind of maneuver it around. So these are really easy to move around. You're just going to unscrew this piece. This slides out, and then you can kind of angle it in any direction. So I'm going to leave it right here just because it's convenient. So I'm making sure that it goes all the way through. I'm going to screw that cap on. And we want to make sure that we've got space for the LANDMINE. So I've got my barbell ready. I'm going to grab the barbell, slides right in. If you are adding weights to this, make sure that you're using bumpers, or if you're using metal plates, you can grab one of our mats from the other side of the gym and place it on the turf just to protect the turf from getting damaged. So with the LANDMINE, I can do a variety of movements. I can do single arm presses. I can do both arm presses. I can do a single arm row. I can do an RDL if I really wanted to. Whatever you want to do with this, just make sure that you put your barbell either back on the rack or back in one of the barbell stands. All right, so you might have also noticed these handles that are sticking out over here. Just so you know, when it's on the inside here, this is just storage. These are actually dip handles. So you're gonna take it off of the storage. You can choose any one of the beams on the rig to attach this to. And I would rest it on the floor. This can be very cumbersome. So same thing, this pin is gonna be a little bit hard to pull out. You're just gonna pull as hard as you can. Then we're gonna find a spot on the rig. So figuring out what your height is gonna be a little bit tricky. And then we're gonna take this to the side. Again, finding that hole. Jamming it through. You wanna make sure that this piece is on the underside. You're gonna see that rogue R, make sure that it's upright. So I made sure that I'm at a proper height where my feet are not gonna touch the ground. When I do a dip, I'm gonna support, lean forward, and you can always feel free to grab some resistance bands if you wanna add some assistance. So you might have also noticed these really nifty rollers that we've got here. So a lot of people have a hard time setting up for a Bulgarian split squat. You might use a bench. A lot of people like using the roller on the hamstring curl machine. This is nice and stationary. It's very stable. Similarly to our landmine attachment, you just unscrew it and then you can put it in any area of the rig and you can set it to your proper height. So for this, I'm making sure that I'm not in too big of a deficit. You're gonna rest your foot or your ankle on it. You can add some weight if you'd like to. You can do them body weight because we all know that they're miserable, but feel free to use those, they're nice and stable. So we've got 2 sets of rings, one on either end of the rig. You can move these around as long as the gym's not busy if you wanna add them to a different rack. We just have them here because they're a little bit out of the way. They don't interfere with the squat rack. So we've got all of this excess. So depending on how long you want the rings, whatever you're doing, I have these set even, so I'm just gonna show you a couple of different things that you can do. So we can use these for ring rows, similar to like a TRX row to work the back muscles, staying nice and flat. The more upright that I am, the easier it is. The closer to the ground that I am, the more difficult it's gonna be. So you can also use this for some shoulder work if you want to work on dips, so feet off the floor and adding in some extra stability on those ring dips. So just so you know, adjust the height, make sure that you've got floor clearance and you're good to go. I said had a lot of people ask me over the last week, what are these targets that are attached? So this is for a wall ball. If you remember, we did a video a while back regarding the wall ball. It is a squat and a throw. This time we've got a target to hit. So couple things. One, you want to be super accurate with this. So if you're a little bit out of practice, you might want to consider them doing it against the wall or going into the big studio. You can try them there. Once you get the movement down, your accuracy is really good, then you can work on doing it to a target. So I'm going to take my medicine ball. So we've got these gray and black Dynamax balls. I'm going to hold it up in front of my face, squat, throw to the target, squat, throw, squat, throw. So we've got 2 different heights. The shorter ones are 9-foot targets. The taller ones are 10-foot targets. 9 would be the female standard and 10 would be the male standard. Also want to mention, you may have noticed all of these awesome pull-up bars that surround our rigs. We now have, not including the assisted machine, 14 stations in the gym to do pull-ups. So plenty of space for everyone to work on their upper body strength. So larger for the taller folk around the outside, but very convenient because if you are vertically challenged like myself, I can jump, I can hang, and I can rep out my pull-ups. So in addition to our monster rig, you might have noticed these 2 platforms that we've got set up. These are our deadlift platforms. They are also Olympic platforms. So these are to be used for deadlifts, cleans, or snatches only. We've also got these 2 brand new shiny red bars. Those are deadlift only bars. So they've got a lot of bend to it. You can fit a lot of plates on it. They feel a little rough coming off the ground midway through your deadlift, so just keep that in mind. But I would not recommend using them for cleans or snatches or anything else. So those will be staying on the platform. If you need to use a different bar for any other reason, you can just scoot it off to the side and then put your red barbell back on. You'll also notice these pegs along the outside. So you can use resistance bands. So if you're doing some resistance deadlifts, you can hook it up to the front so you can add tension for your lats. Or if you want resistance going down to the ground, hook your bands onto both sides. We've got 2 on that side, 2 on this side, and we'll add some resistance coming off the ground.